You know what most people get completely wrong about intelligence? They think it looks like straight A's, fancy degrees, or quick answers. But real intelligence often hides in the quietest, most overlooked places. Psychology says the smartest people rarely know how smart they truly are. This video will show you 10 hidden signs that your brain is more powerful than you ever believed. The first sign is that you constantly question things others simply accept. You do not take information at face value. You pause, wonder, and ask why before you believe anything fully. Psychologists call this trait epistemic curiosity. Studies show that people with higher intelligence naturally seek deeper understanding. Their brain is wired to question rather than just absorb without thinking. The second sign is that you feel deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty, yet you still sit with it. Most people rush to answers. Intelligent people wait, even when waiting feels painful and strange. Research from Yale University found that tolerating ambiguity is strongly linked to higher cognitive ability. Your brain understands that real answers take time and that quick conclusions are often wrong. The third sign is that you talk to yourself silently in your head more than others do. You replay conversations. You rehearse decisions. You have full debates inside your own mind before speaking. This inner voice is called internal dialogue, and neuroscientists have found it is closely tied to self-regulation and problem-solving. The more active your inner voice, the more your brain is working. The fourth sign is that you find it genuinely hard to explain how you know something. You just know. You sense the answer before you can find the exact words to prove it. This is called intuitive intelligence. Research from the University of New South Wales shows that people with higher intelligence often process information unconsciously, arriving at correct conclusions before logic catches up to them. The fifth sign is that you get easily bored in environments that do not challenge your mind. Meetings that go nowhere, conversations with no depth, routines with no growth, they drain you fast. Psychologists link this to what is called need for cognition. Intelligent brains crave stimulation. Without it, they do not relax. They quietly restless, searching for something more meaningful to chew on. The sixth sign is that you feel genuinely bothered by your own past mistakes, more than most people do. You replay them. You analyze them. You wish you had done things differently and better. This is not weakness. It is called reflective thinking. Studies in cognitive psychology show that highly intelligent people use past errors as active learning tools, constantly updating their mental models of the world. Now, consider this for a moment. When was the last time you stayed up thinking about something you said or did years ago? Most people forget. You never quite do. That is not guilt. That might just be growth. The seventh sign is that you genuinely enjoy being alone with your thoughts. Not because you dislike people, but because silence gives your brain the space it desperately needs to breathe and wander freely. A landmark study from the London School of Economics found that highly intelligent individuals reported lower life satisfaction from frequent socializing. Their minds process so much internally that constant interaction can feel like noise. The eighth sign is that you find it very easy to see things from perspectives completely different from your own. You do not just argue your side. You genuinely understand why the other side thinks differently. This ability is called cognitive flexibility, and it is one of the strongest markers of high intelligence in psychological research. Your brain does not need to win. It needs to understand. That is a rare gift. The ninth sign is that you have a deep and private sensitivity to things most people brush off. A song lyric, a stranger's expression, a moment in a film. These things stay with you longer than expected. Research on emotional intelligence and cognitive complexity shows that people with sharper minds often have more finely tuned emotional sensors. They notice subtle shifts in the world that others walk right past without blinking. The 10th sign is that you rarely feel fully satisfied with your own work. You finish something and immediately see what could have been better. You are your own hardest and most honest critic always. Psychologists link this to a concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect in reverse. Truly capable people are more aware of their own gaps. The smarter you are, the more clearly you see how much you still do not know. There's also something else worth mentioning quietly. Intelligent people often experience something called imposter syndrome. They feel like they do not belong in the room, even when they are clearly the most prepared person there. This happens because their mind is always comparing itself to an ideal version that does not yet exist. That constant reaching forward feels like falling behind, but it is actually the engine of real, lasting growth. Another hidden pattern that appears in truly intelligent people is their relationship with time. They often lose track of it completely when deeply focused on something that genuinely interests and absorbs their full attention. Psychologists call this flow state, first studied by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. When intelligent people find a problem that truly matters to them, their brain locks in with a focus that feels almost effortless and infinite. It is also worth noticing that highly intelligent people tend to adapt their communication style, depending on who they are speaking with. They do not talk the same way to everyone. They read the room constantly and quietly. This is called code switching in social psychology, and it requires enormous cognitive processing power. To adjust your language, tone, and depth of thought in real time is something only a deeply aware mind can do well. Something else that sets intelligent people apart quietly is their love of asking questions that have no clean answer. Not trivia, not facts, but the big open questions about existence, purpose, people, and meaning that never fully close. Research consistently shows that openness to experience, one of the 5 core personality traits, correlates strongly with measured intelligence. Curious minds do not want all the answers. They want better and deeper questions to live inside. Intelligent people also tend to notice connections that others miss entirely. They will read something about history and suddenly see how it connects to something happening today. Their brain is always drawing invisible threads between ideas. This is called associative thinking, and it is a core feature of creative and analytical intelligence. The ability to link unrelated concepts is not just creativity. It is a sign of a brain that never truly switches off. Now we return to where we began. You were told your whole life that intelligence looks a certain way, that it wears certain clothes, speaks a certain language, scores a certain number on a certain kind of test. But psychology keeps finding the same truth again and again. The most intelligent people are often the ones who doubt themselves most, who listen more than they speak, and who feel most deeply what others barely notice at all. Intelligence is not a trophy you carry. It is a quiet fire that keeps burning even when no one is watching. If you recognize yourself in these signs, do not shrink from that. Let it push you gently forward. The real measure of intelligence was never how much you know. It has always been how honestly, how curiously, and how bravely you are willing to keep asking questions about a world that will never stop surprising you.